Good morning. Good morning. Hey, I feel like in some of these I should be putting up like the date screen on it. Um, so when I put them up on the Destination Decluttered, what do you call it? YouTube channel, that I would easily know what day it is. But good morning. Hey, today, uh, May 14th. See, I was checking myself what day it was. Good morning. It's so funny. I put the windows open because it's nice out, but I think. Okay, now it's changed. I think there was literally, that chunka sound of a school bus or maybe a giant truck. Hopefully you can't hear it, but hey. I would say here we are, but at least here I know I am. Because I promised to show up today at 7 a.m., and here I am, showing up today at 7 a.m. Good morning. Good morning, Lee, and Pinky Slowy Chloe and Juana and Underground Jim Smith. Okay. Good morning, Jen and Vintage 82 and here. You know what? Funny thing is I never know if when I see the pictures, when I see the names of people kind of joining. I guess that's officially when you turn onto um, the screen, the live screen, and then you show up. I sometimes mistakenly get onto people's lives, and I don't want them. I don't mean to be rude. It's almost like I opened the wrong door to like in a cartoon and be like, "Whoa, I'm sorry, not I'm in here." But it's nice to see everybody who's showing up. Abbott Elementary, nice to see you. Chalise and Jen, my name is Beth. I will introduce myself since I'm seeing you being so kind to introduce yourselves. I'm a decluttering life coach. Da, da, da. What does that mean? All sorts of good stuff. It means I'm here to help you. If you need some help, maybe I'm here to let me entertain you. Maybe I'm here to just entertain you. Ouch, that's hot. So yeah, so good morning. Good morning. What can we say? It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, neighbors. It is. Oh my goodness. I will admit to being a person who feels better when the weather is better. And what the weather is better for me is when the sun is out, when I can see the green of the grass and the blue of the sky, and things are growing. And where we are here, so I'm on the east coast of the United States. I live just outside of Philly, and spring flowers blooming, blue sky shining at me. That's my favorite kind of weather. And I try very hard not to be affected by when it's cold and gray and rainy and damp. So I do things to make me feel better on those days. But man, it's kind of like the difference between like when you like something and you love something. Like I love the nice weather. I know I'm like the only person on the planet who does that. But yeah, we have a beautiful morning this morning. Jen is saying, "Oh my, are we the same person?" I don't know, Jen. Are we? But you know what? The days are not always sunny. And so having some tools in your toolkit to make yourself feel better on the days that are not going as expected is a wonderful thing to have. Resources, a toolbox maybe, a toolbox in the back of your car for when things aren't going as planned or maybe as you'd like, so you can make something, you can still have a good day even if it's rainy. I've gotten some wonderful things done. I've read some books on a rainy day. I wrap myself in a blanket, drink myself a cup of tea, hang out with friends. Oh, there we go. Jen was just singing Mr. Rogers to get myself going. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, a beautiful day for a neighbor. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? He was a sweetie, huh? I feel like that sometimes. I feel like Mr. Rogers because he said, look for the helpers. And I feel like when I show up on TikTok, if I'm on this side of TikTok, if I'm doing it myself, I'm scrolling and I'm looking for vacation places and I'm sending recipes for my husband to say, hey, make that for dinner. That looks good. And little tips and hacks and learn interesting things. That's me on TikTok as a regular folk. But when I show up and I do a TikTok live, I feel like I am kind of part of what Mr. Rogers was saying was finding the helpers. Now there's a lot of stuff I might not be able to help you with. I know my limitations, but I know how to help you with your clutter if you're willing to be helped with your clutter. Okay, so Chell is saying, Chelly, good morning. I've been using the word literally a lot. I literally live in a chaotic mess. Okay, in only my bedroom. How do I even begin? Here's two things that I want you to begin with. Everything, people, everything, regardless if it's a chaotic mess in your thing. Um, Thank you, Jen. Now I got it. So I want to help you all. I want to help us. I'll do this myself right now so you can see what I mean. Is if you're feeling like you're in a chaotic mess, and how do I even begin? Now this is the vagaries of doing a TikTok live versus the one-on-one coaching that I do, where we coach on Zoom. Is when we're on Zoom, I can sense where your energy's at. If you're kind of activated, if your nervous system is activated, I don't know a better word to use it. I should probably find one. But when you're like, oh my God, I live in a chaotic mess. I can't even. How do I even begin? And you're kind of like looking around like the milk and eggs guy when there was going to be a storm. If you're like that, even if you're not on the outside, on the inside, if you're like feeling a little bit stressed out about this, let's all go to the lobby and get ourselves a snack, huh? Let's all work on paying attention to how we feel. And if we're not feeling like we want to feel, there's something we can do about that. So when I talk about I use the word overwhelm. Some people use stress, some people use anxiety. I like to think of the word overwhelm for a couple of reasons. One is when we're dealing with clutter. Overwhelm to me has has a flavor to it of dealing with large quantities of things, or too many of whatever it is, because that's typically what clutter is. Clutter is too much of something. You think you have there's a level that's just right, that feels just right. There's a level that's too little. There's a level that's just right, and then there's a level that's too much. From the distance between just right and too much, right here is where clutter lives. But let's calm down the clutter. Let's calm down the overwhelm. Let's slow down so our nervous system feels better. Have you ever been kind of freaked out about something and you know you're not making the best decisions and you can't even think? You got to take the time to deal with your nervous system. And this may sound a lot more difficult than it is. Really? Take in some deep breaths. 3, 4, a minute's worth. Whatever. It doesn't have to be long. I mean, please continue to breathe after this, because if you don't, luckily that's something your body breathes naturally on its own, but it doesn't always deep breathe. I have a theory. I was thinking about this yesterday, talking about having a beautiful, beautiful day, is that one of the reasons we probably feel so good when we go on vacation, when we go to the beach. I thought about this when I was at the beach, but I know people go to the mountains. Now I'm thinking of conjunction junction. Just roll with it. Is we allow ourselves to go, this feels so good. You breathe in that nice, tangy, salty air down into your lungs. In with the good air, out with the bad air. You just slow down. You quiet down. And it feels better when you can kind of regulate your nervous system, as we say in the biz. So everybody, anytime you're starting anything, first of all, it can't hurt. If you're already feeling okay, it can never hurt to take a few deep breaths. You're getting oxygen to the cells everywhere, in your toes and your nose and your fingertips. When you have oxygen in your cells, your human, your somatic body, your animal body feels better. And when you feel better, you can do better. So what I would say to Shell is, first of all, instead of feeling chaotic, let's calm down. I like to use the word down. Calm down, slow down, quiet down, breathe down. But down, 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 down. From over to down, 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 down. And when you start feeling better, here's what I want you to then start with. This is why I call my coaching Destination Decluttered. Do it every day. Do it with everything. What's my destination? What do I want my bedroom to be? Now, and then what I say is, then another down, whatever comes up, write it down. Now, I know Chell is saying, I live in a chaotic mess, so you know you don't want it to be a chaotic mess. So this is where we have some fun. If I was coaching with you, I'd say, get your crappy little notebook that I have you buy for a whopping, 50 cents at Target or whatever. Fold the paper in half. Write chaotic and mess on one side. And then say, I wonder what the opposite of chaos is in my mind. What's the opposite of mess? What do I want it to be? Instead of what it is, what it is. Hey, that's groovy. What it is. Instead of what it is, what do I want it to be? And write that down. This is you creating like a marker on the map. You can't get from here to there unless you know where there is. And once you know what you're aiming for, then you can start to do things to get there. Okay? TT Myeloma is asking, what advice do you have about hiring a TaskRabbit to help declutter? Here, you know what? I have never used TaskRabbit myself, but one of my currently former clients did when she was moving from house to house. So I wasn't aware of it, but what I would offer is this. Much like me, as a certified what the heck am I? Certified life coach and a wicked good declutterer like nobody's business. Even if you hired me, I couldn't do the decluttering for you. There's a difference. T-Talks Myeloma, I want you to think of the decluttering as a life coach, as a life skill. Decluttering is decision making. Decluttering, decision making. Maybe that's when I declutter, I am making a decision in my head and in my heart based on what I want to happen. And then once I make that decision in my head and my heart, then you can hire some hands. You know what they talk? Remember that even like in old-timey, movies and what do you call it? Books and stuff. They talk about the hired hands, hired hands on the ranch. You're a ranch hand. It's because they're not hiring you for your head or your heart. They're hiring you to tote that barge and lift that bale. Somebody else is going to point to it. Move that from there to there. Put that over there. Put that there. That's probably what the TaskRabbit person would be. Now, I think it's actually a really cool idea, especially for folks who say, I am physically not able to do the decluttering. I get that. I get that. The thing I want to encourage you about is the decluttering is not initially the physical stuff. It's what happens and what you think about your stuff makes you feel a certain way, and then you do a thing with it. You either cling on to it physically or you let go of it physically or something in the middle. But that starts up here and in here, head, heart, and then hands. So totally get somebody else to boss around and say, move that there, take that to the Goodwill, throw that in the trash, put that on the curb, take it yourself. Okay? So yeah, I think it's a really good thing, but I just want to make the distinction between, this is the really cool part of it though, you guys. I have it written down right here. This little phrase will change your life. Quick. What do I want? What do I want to happen here? I even have started to even just use that. You know what I want to happen here? I want this to happen. I want to fill in the blank. And we are not used to, many of us, thinking that way. I know I started thinking that way when I was a kid, and then I heard no so much that I just kind of gave up thinking like that. And boy, did my life reflect it. Doesn't matter what I want. I'm not getting it, so why bother wanting? And then somebody says, I don't know, what do you want? I don't know. Doesn't matter, because even if I don't want it, I'm not going to get it. It only took me decades to have a life now that I freaking love. But I don't want it to take decades for you to have a house that looks and feels like you want and a life to feel like you want. That's why I show up. Okay, so Jen brings up a good point. Jen says, it's the decision making that's exhausting to me. Okay, so here, let me help you with that, Jen. This is how it helped me. I think of my life as a road trip. Even right now, if life is too much, think of decluttering from here to your home, being your destination decluttered. Think of it as a road trip. And you are the driver in the car. You are the only one ever behind the wheel. But your car, the car metaphor, is apt here because I want you to think of your gas tank in your car where you have the full and the empty. I want you to think of that when you're making decisions. Because decision making does take energy. Every decision you make decreases the amount of gas in your gas tank. So you may start out strong and you're making things, and then you'll realize, oh my goodness, this is I'm getting tired, I'm exhausted. It's probably because your decision-making gas is on empty. When you're feeling exhausted by it, just know that you've made some good decisions, or else you wouldn't have emptied your tank. And then step away from it. Go do something else. Leave it for another day. Tidy up after yourself. Congratulate yourself on the decisions you made and the stuff you did do. But please know, there's stuff you can Google about there being a finite amount of decision-making energy. That's why many of us start so strong in the morning, and by the end of the day, we're toast, because we're making little decisions all the time. The fewer decisions you make, the more gas you have in your tank, but also then you may not have a life that's, stuff that's working. So I just say to yourself, you know what? Yeah, if you're exhausted, that's okay. You need to kind of metaphorically pull up to the gas station or the rest stop, get some gas in the tank, walk around, get a stretch, flop down, read a book, take a walk, hang out with a friend. Get it? So your energy fills up again. And then when you have more gas in your tank, you can drive forward again. And then your gas is going to lower. And then you do something to fill it up. And it takes a while. It's not a one and done. The stuff did not kind of like wait on your body. It did not show up overnight. Though sometimes it feels like it did. The stuff in your house did not show up overnight. It grew there gradually. So the good news is that the decreasing of it will be gradual, but it can take a shorter amount of time than however long it took to accumulate. Okay. Jeannie Oliver is saying, very familiar, I need so much help with decluttering. Okay, I can help you with that. Clothing is my problem. Got it. I got clothing in my own closet right here. I hold on to everything just in case. Okay, 2 things I hear right there. Everything. I hold on to everything just in case. Now, this is where I like to have some fun, because what I notice is, this is what I call, remember I just talked about being in a car? You're the driver. There are 2 voices in your car that are either keeping you going in the direction you want or stopping you. I call them your co-pilot. The way I show up and speak with you and to you and for you in total excitement. If I can help you with that, let's get over that roadblock. Co-pilot voice. Me, just think of me as like a substitute, a temporary co-pilot. But I want to introduce you to who sits in the back seat, your backseat drivers. So your backseat drivers, I picture as little kids, maybe even just one little kid in the backseat, in like an old-timey, like a car seat. They don't want you to go where you want to go. They want you to go where you want. So they just want you to stay the same. They don't want you to change. They want you to go, I'm always doing this. They want you to go through the McDonald's drive-thru and get nuggets and fries for the rest of your life. They don't want you to do anything different. So notice when you hear yourself talking in very dramatic language. Mama, you never let us go to McDonald's. We're always having to eat broccoli. You know what I mean? Like that kind of dramatic. And I want to be like, is that really true? So the thing that kind of included me into that was I save everything. Everything. I hold on to everything. You've never once given away something or thrown something away or donated it? Nah, you probably keep a lot. A lot seems more reasonable. And notice, just in case, because these guys give you reasons. You can't give that away. You got to save that. Just in case. What if you need it? Fear of lack. Fear of not having it when you want it can hold you to have you hang on to it. Now, depending upon how much you have and how much you want, you're going to need to have, you can't shut down those backseat drivers. The voices in your head, this is the way I do it. The voices you have in your head, your co-pilot and your backseat driver voice, are going to be with you. They've been with you since you've been born, probably. They will be with you for the rest of your life. Now think about it. If you're on a road trip with people, you're the driver. The kid is like this, ba 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 ba. When you're not feeling well, when you're feeling frustrated, angry, tired, hungover, whatever, you could turn around and snap at them. Shut up! Well, that may shut them up temporarily, but I don't know if you've ever been yelled at like that. You may shut down, but man, is that going to pop up somewhere else? That's not the energy you want in your car. If somebody yells at you to shut up, it may be quiet, but it's not a good quiet. It's not a good quiet. I want there to be a good quiet in your head so that the kids are like, okay, I trust that you're going to do something that's not going to get us in trouble. We're not going to get into harm. When it's quiet there, then your co-pilot is like, thank you for calming down those little kids. I love them, but they're just so scared. It makes us not be able to get to where we want to go. Where do you want to go? What do you want to happen? I can help you with that. Let's do it. Let's define where we're going. Let's get excited about it. Let's make some road stops. Let's get going. Let's create a roadmap. Okay? But notice, even this is great. Angela is saying clothing is my problem too. I have 5 baskets in my closet right now, and I don't think I wear half. You probably don't. I don't know if there's studies, but there's been anecdotal evidence. I guess that's my kind of my safety, so in case somebody wants me to cite it, that we wear 20% of our clothes 80% of the time. Now, I am a classic example of this, especially when I show up on TikTok. My God, I am always wearing a black t-shirt and a hoodie and, well, you can't see it, but yoga pants. It's comfortable for me. It keeps me warm, keeps the skin kind of tucked in. I have clothing in there that I don't wear all the time, but what I've done is I've gotten really good about knowing why I'm not wearing it. The stuff I have fits. It's stuff I would wear when the season and the occasion is right. So get curious, Angela, about the clothing you're not wearing. Everybody. Everybody. Practice decluttering by looking at your own clothing. Notice the clothes you do wear. You know why you wear them? Because they're comfortable and they fit. And they make you feel good, maybe. The other clothes you wear, maybe you're not wearing them because they don't fit and they're not comfortable. Maybe you're not wearing them because they don't fit and they're not comfortable and you paid a lot of money for them. Or you want to hopefully wear them someday because you're hoping to gain weight or lose weight. Notice that you have categories of clothing. Notice you have categories of everything. You do. Everything you have pretty much could be in a category. Okay? So get curious about the stuff. Notice the stuff you use all the time. That's not the clutter. The stuff that isn't being used, that isn't being worn, that might be the clutter. Now, I think of things that I have that are used very infrequently, but I still use them. You know, I've got some tiki clothes and some fun dresses and some caftans that I'm going to wear in the summer. I'm not going to walk around in those in the middle of winter. But it's okay because I know when the weather comes, I'm going to wear those. But get curious about what you're not wearing, what you're not using. And here's an important thing I want to share with you too. Ask yourself why you're not wearing or using it, but, Simone, everybody I know, all my friends have big butts. And I have big butts, but I can't deny. This is how my brain works. But when you're asking yourself, why aren't I wearing this? I want you to be conscious of your vibe, of your tone of voice you're using to talk to yourself. And I want to even further instruct you, do not be judgy. Be curious. I will repeat that. Don't be judgy. Be curious. You can say the same phrase, and depending upon your tone, you know what you are. Why aren't I wearing this? Why aren't you wearing this? Why aren't I wearing this? That's going to shut you down. When you're being judged by somebody else or yourself, it's going to shut down your brain because it wants to be safe. Your heart is going to contract like an armadillo because it wants to keep safe because it's being judged. It doesn't want to be poked. But if you say the same thing curiously and with love, judgment is fear, love is, and curiosity are on this side. Why aren't I wearing this? I'm curious. Even notice the tone of my voice almost like opens up that heart. All of a sudden the armadillo is like, you know what? I don't know. And we go like this, I don't know. Why am I, you know what? You know why I'm not wearing it? Because I'm afraid my big butt, and I can't deny, does not fit into that dress anymore. And I'm afraid if I try it on, it's going to make me feel bad because I have gained weight. And we live in a weight-conscious society. So if my butt has gained weight, I'm a bad person. So I just say, well, maybe I'll try it on when I've lost some weight. Okay, that's better than, I don't know. When you find out why you're keeping your stuff, you can then make a more informed decision. A decision based on information and feeling. About, well, do I want to keep on wearing that dress even if my butt was smaller? Yeah, I do. Okay, keep it. Work on your butt. Maybe I can get the dress let out. Maybe I can find one another size. Have a conversation with yourself about your stuff. Remember I said it starts up here in your head and here in your heart? This is where the conversation is. Then when you know what to do with it, then hands can become involved. But speak to yourself kindly, like I do. I show up as your co-pilot. This is how I show up for the people I coach. Teaching yourself how to be nice to yourself and not beat yourself up and be judgy. You don't realize how judgy you're being? Oh my God, I'm judgy and I coach all day about this. Okay? So let me see what else. So I hope that helps. Yeah, notice this. Okay, give yourself a break. And I'm just catching up on stuff. Shame. Notice shame is on this side, okay? If there's a line here, if you got a problem, you all solve it. There's a line right here in between On the one hand, you've got the unhelpful thoughts that create unhelpful feelings, and then you're hanging on to stuff. On the category of unhelpful thoughts, shame, judgment, fear, other ones that make you not feel good, insert here. You've got that one side of the paper. If you were folding it in half and you had two columns, I do this folding in two columns thing all the time when I'm coaching. On the other hand, though, on the other side of that line is the opposite. Instead of fear, you have love. Oh, actually, here we go. I have a list of them I just realized from my coaching. Okay, so think of this. Backseat drivers, thoughts that make you feel crappy, unhelpful thoughts. Detrimental, stuck, judgment, fear, not trusting, feeling bad. This is hard, this is complicated, this is overwhelming, I'm unsure. On the other hand, you've got your thoughts and feelings that show up for love, for yourself, for your life, and all that. They're more helpful, beneficial, you're able to get started, curiosity, love, trusting, forgiveness, feeling better, things become easier, simple, fun. What you're thinking now, if it's unhelpful, just know that's only half the story. You may not know this. There's a whole other side to that story that you just haven't realized yet. Shame is also on that. I should add shame. I'm going to write that down right now. Shame. Shame. Well, that's a mess, but I'll keep it later. Okay. I love it. Somebody's got a plumber coming. I love hearing people helping each other. You know, yeah, we all feel this. Okay. I love it. Miss Julia says, being kind to myself has made all the difference. My house is a mess right now, but I'm down with the flu. Yeah, Kimbo, I hope you feel better soon as well. But notice when you're not feeling good, when you're not feeling well, it's going to be hard to do good stuff. The wonderful thing is, though, you're not going to have the flu for forever, hopefully. And so just give yourself a break. Fill your tank. Allow yourself to feel better, because when you feel better, you will do better. I've been that way when I've been sick in bed and I blow my nose and there's like a flurry of used tissues on the side of the bed. I can't even. But then when I feel better, one of the very first things I do is I pick up all my tissues. All right. Here we go. What do we got here? Motivation is my biggest enemy, Mignon says. Motivation. See, here's the thing. I think of Myrna. Who was it? The Aunt Myrna on the Brady Bunch. What's my motivation? I use that all the time. And your motivation. How about this? Your motivation is, I want to go to there. Says Tina Fey's daughter, who's probably like 15 years old at this point. I want to go to there. Where's there? There is your destination. If you're not there, if you want to go to there, I'm motivated. When I see something I want, now I've gotten into the habit of, instead of saying no to myself, I get all crafty and Nancy Drew. How can we get there? How can we get there? How can I make that cool thing happen? How can I make my house look from this to this? How can I get my cluttery room? This room used to be a room of clutter. I will share pictures with people on the mailing list at some point. But how do I get to there? And when you're motivated with the right type of gas in you, when you're motivated by love and excitement and joy and fun and love for yourself and going for what you want, that totally has a different wavelength, flavor, feeling than when you're motivated by fear and judgment and rushed and shame and other people's ideas. Notice motivation. Motivate yourself the good way by saying, looking ahead, looking forward to something versus looking ahead with dread. I love it. Jolene Worth said, you inspired me and I started decluttering over the weekend, started with your jewelry box. Awesome. Awesome. I love it. Congratulations. Okay, unhelpful thoughts are probably what has killed my motivation, but the cool thing is your motivation cannot be killed. It is always alive. It's just probably sitting there waiting for you to pick it up on the side of the road and be like, hey, you know what? You know where we're going? This is going to be fun. You and I, we're going on a road trip. We're going to Destination Decluttered. This is going to be so fun. My house is going to look like this. We're going to live in a house that feels like this. We're going to be able to find things. We're not going to be wasting money buying duplicates. You know, everything we look at, we're going to love. It's going to be so easy to clean. I'm going to be able to have friends over. I'm going to be able to leave and go on vacation for weeks and not worry that my house is a mess. Your motivation cannot be killed. It's just sitting there waiting for you to kind of ignite the spark and get the engine going. Yeah, embarrassing is another good unhelpful thing. I'm embarrassed. The shame and embarrassment if somebody opens the door. Those unhelpful thoughts and feelings will keep you stuck on the side of the road in the mud, spinning your wheels. The good thing is when you realize it, that when you identify it, when you notice it, when you notice something, you can then change it. Okay? Yeah, and here, Cat Mama is saying to Jennifer, I always apologize, mess, when workmen come in. Don't think they care. They're focused on the task. Trust me, those work people have seen so much. We have a friend who used to be, we were talking about this over the weekend. He was a cable TV guy, and he would be like, you have no idea what's in people's houses. You have no idea because they shut the door. See, that's the bummer. That's one of the reasons I got into decluttering, because I know for a stone cold fact how much clutter is not just about getting your house to look like. Where is that thing? Did I save it? No, I think I recycled it. It's not about getting your house looking good. That's only kind of a byproduct. What I want is when your house is looking the way you want it to, you're feeling good. You're feeling good and you're doing different things. You have space on surfaces so you can do crafts if you want to do them. You have space to cook. You have space to hang out with your friends. You're opening the door if people drop by. Heck, you're inviting them in because you want them to hang out with you. You're not wasting money buying duplicates of stuff and too many containers and things that, you are going to be the latest gadget. You're happy with what you have. What you have works well. You can find it. You can use it. You can put it away. You immediately, anytime you go to grab something, you know it's going to fit or work well. That it looks good to the eye because you love everything, that you're not looking at stuff that tells you bad stories. All of this is to make you feel good so you have a life that feels good. Because we spend hours and decades in our homes, and if we're surrounded by stuff that doesn't make us feel good, that has a cumulative effect on the rest of our lives. You start smelling like your home. But when you start feeling good, it's like nice little smell waves, a nice little positive ripple effect. Have you ever hung around with somebody? I kind of am co-opting Jen Sincero, but it's so true. When you hang around with somebody who's like kicking ass and doing some fun stuff, it can be contagious. It's like electricity. You start to smell that perfume. You're like, ooh, I like this. I want to hang around with that person. They're doing some cool stuff. The flip side, when you're hanging around with somebody who smells, and I mean like, we're doomed, we can't do this, I don't know, no, it's not going to work, Debbie Downer. You don't want to hang around with those people because their energy bums you out. But when you get somebody next to somebody, I try to do this as a coach. I don't want to be overly cheerleader, but go you, seriously. You can do this. You can declutter. Okay? All right. All right. And notice, okay, so Jennifer's saying embarrassed to have somebody come in and clean. You need help. Start to do the decluttering yourself. Even decluttering one room, you could clean it yourself. Then you declutter another room. And it's a process. The wonderful thing is when I coach, the process I share with you, and I share this on to these TikToks all the time, you chunk it down to one room, one section of one room, and then you look at the layers of clutter, surface, stored, sentimental, and you decide basically over and over again, what is this thing? Do I want it? If I want it, where does it go? If I don't want it, where does it go? Actually, I should always flip them. If I don't want it, where does it go? If I do want it, where does it go? Lather, rinse, repeat, but you have to get clear on what you want. And if you don't know what you want, it's going to be really hard because you have no kind of target to aim for, no North Star to guide you, no destination to point your car towards, like, Route 66 from Chicago to LA. You knew where you were going the whole time. If you started driving east, you know where you were going in the wrong direction. Okay? Chrissy is saying, my goal is to be able to clean without moving so many things. Okay, Chrissy, how about this? Get curious about the stuff that you're moving when you clean. Is it where you want it to be, or is it in the way? If it's not where you want it to be, is there a better home for it? Better. We're not going for perfection. We're going for better. So right now, could you make those surfaces that you're cleaning 10% better? Could you move a couple of things somewhere else that you feel good about? You're not just shoving it in a closet and saying, I'm dealing with it later, or doom bags or anything like that. You're taking the time to say, I don't like this the way where it is. Where's a better place for it? That can help you when you go to clean. And then Clara is saying, I fell asleep before cleaning my kitchen last night, and it reminded me how I like it when I wake up. We're always helping. Today us is helping future us. And future you is you in an hour. Future you is you this afternoon. Future you is you tomorrow morning when you wake up. And you're taking care of future you by saying, hey, you know what? I really like it when I wake up and I walk into the kitchen and it looks good. That everything, there's no dishes in the sink, the counter's clean, the table's clean. I go make myself a cup of tea. I look out the window. I plan my day. I love waking up like that. So if I love waking up like that, you know what I'm going to do today is before I go to bed, I'm going to set myself up for that thing. And I'm going to feel good about doing it because I know when I walk in here in the morning, it's going to feel good. Now, sometimes, of course, you're going to fall asleep. You're human. It doesn't happen consistently every single time. But having it happen more than it does now is going to feel better. Okay, what else? Deanne says, every day I get rid of 2 things and it so helps. There you go. Awesome Sauce says, do you think storage containers are completely unnecessary? No, I don't. Look at me. Look at all these containers on these shelves back here. Containers help you contain things. Containers help you contain categories of things that you've gone through and decided at a certain point you want to keep. Containers allow you the place to look better. I feel like I'm being a commercial for containers. I love containers. I do. What I don't love is the following. I don't love people buying containers before they've sorted stuff. Thinking that buying a container is going to solve your problems. You still have to sort things. And sometimes it cracks me up when I know somebody thinks the containers are a solution, is when I have helped people declutter and we find a plethora of containers. That's not the solution. It's part of the process. You know, here, look. See? See all that stuff that's contained? If I didn't, it would all be on a floor in a mess, in a big old pile. Some structure is good. Some containering is necessary. Our clothing is a container for our body. Too many containers of the wrong kind. And the wrong kind means that they're too big to move. You can't see through them. You don't know what there are. They don't fit the quantity of stuff you have. So, yeah, no, I love containers. Okay, I love this. Jen is saying, wow, this has been so eye-opening. I didn't know this is something so common. Oh, hon, yeah, it is. I feel like I can fix it. I love that. Notice that. I didn't know that I'm not the only one. I'm not the only one. Suddenly you feel better, and when you feel better, notice what's happening. You have this sentence in your head. I feel like I can fix it. Yeah. Now that's where you want to hang out. On this side, on that feeling you can do something about it, then let's do something about it. You know? You could follow Deanne, who says, every day I get rid of 2 things, it so helps. Every little bit helps. Every little bit helps. That's my mantra. Do I even have, oh yeah, I had stickers that for the people on the mailing list. It probably looks backwards for you, but it says every little bit helps. Write it down. Live by it. It's so true. And I will say this to all of us. There is such a clutter problem in the United States and probably in places beyond for very specific historical reasons. It's not a personality flaw. It is the society with which we live in. In the world with which we live in makes you give it a try. Live and let die. Boom, boom, boom. We live in a society that like is supposed to exist on us buying stuff all the time. And there's so much to buy, and now more than ever it is so freaking easy to get things like literally like droned to your house. So we have to be extra careful about what we buy and then not holding on to stuff that doesn't work, or else we're going to drown in stuff. Okay? Okay, what else do we have? How long is it to get rid of it if you haven't touched it in a while? Jennifer, you got the answers in you. You got the music in you. What I want to say is just practice asking yourself, but I will say to yourself, how long is it to get rid of it if you haven't touched it in a while? This is you looking back in the past. We are right here in the present. The past is this way and the future is this way. Okay? The future is this way on the side of love and I can do these things. The past is over here. So you say to yourself, here's this thing. When's the last time I used it? When do I typically use this? Okay, it's been a while. Right now I'm asking myself, do I think I'm going to use it? And then you look out into the future. Do I think I'm going to use this? Do I think I'm going to use this crock pot? Am I going to wear this caftan? Yeah, I do. Now we only use our crock pot maybe once or twice a year. But I love our crock pot. It's vintage. It's like from the 70s. It's kind of this, not even a burnt orange. It's kind of an orange color. And we use it for meatballs when we have people over for parties. So when I see the crock pot, I think of big Christmas parties. So we keep it. So even if we only use it once a year, it feels good. Those of you who've been with me for a while, you know that I used to talk about the not the slow cooker. It was the opposite of slow cooker, like the Instapot that my husband thought we'd use, and we used it for a little while and we didn't use it. That was just sitting there, and it's like, do we think we're going to use it? I don't know. So it took a while. We used it and we realized we didn't like the food it was making, and we finally gave it away. Chrissy, the singing. This is how I'm wired. This is what makes life delightful for me. Is when it's something I got from my dad, and I grew up married to a musician, and my mom, everybody in my family, we're not necessarily musically talented, but we love music. I make things fun by singing about it, you know? Yeah, I have so many empty containers from getting rid of things. Progress, yeah, I love it. I love it. And Anessa is using cardboard boxes from work to store things, you know what I mean? You do these things. Ask, does it bring me joy, or do I use it regularly? Yeah. And here's the deal. If you're like, I'm not sure, here's the thing to help you. How about this for kind of another road trip, car-related thing that I do, is think about right here in your torso, this little square area here. Maybe it's a little bit curvy than others, but I want you to think of this part of your body, and I want you to picture a traffic signal. Now, the next time you're at a light, you're going to notice that the traffic signal out in the real world has the red, yellow, green. I'm flipping it up because I want the green light to align with where my heart is. The green light is here in the heart. This is the stuff that lights you up, that says, oh my gosh, I love it. Yes, go, move forward. This is excellent. I love it. On the bottom, as I always say, kind of near your body's poop chute, as I like to see very delicately, this is where you say, no, stop, I don't want it. I want to get rid of it. Your body does this all the time. Your body, you take stuff in, you use what you want, you excrete the rest. This is how your body works. However, what's here kind of in the middle between the two? Yellow. Yellow is I'm not sure, I don't know. Yellow is when you're out in traffic, you see it turn yellow, you say, do I speed up, do I slow down? There's this kind of tension there. This is the I don't know stuff. That's okay to have stuff I don't know. We're all not perfect, and nor do we want to be. So if you have stuff that you're not sure about, give yourself, well, if I don't use this within, and give yourself a boundary. If I don't use this within the next 6 months, I'm giving it away. Then take a Post-it note, take a piece of painter's tape, write on it. Use me by, okay, here's an interesting thing. May 14th, June, July, August, September, October, November. If I don't use this in 6 months, November 14th, then I'm going to donate it, give it away, sell it, something, throw it away. Easy enough, you know, easy enough. Okay. The guilt about ditching something because I spent money on it. Jen, guilt. Guilt is over here. Guilt is keeping you stuck with something you don't want. Think about this. Think about the opposite. What if you hadn't spent any money on it? What if you found that thing by the side of the road and it was free and you tried it and it didn't work out? Would you feel as guilty? Notice, guilt is a feeling, but guilt is a feeling keeping you hanging on to something you know you don't want. Because the only thing that's keeping you hanging on to the thing is a story that's making you feel guilty. A story. I spent money on that. Ugh, I feel guilty. I should hang on to it. But the thing itself is not bringing you joy. It's not working for you. You can change that if you want. And what you do is say, okay, you know what? I don't want this thing in my life. I'm going to change that guilt feeling. How about feeling guilty about that thing is hanging on with you? It could be out living its life, loving the world, and really helping somebody else out. But no, it's stuck in your closet, not doing a thing. I always think about this for some reason with dating, okay? Think about this. You know what? You're dating somebody that you know isn't right for you, but you're feeling guilty because, you know, it's worked out or they're kind of a nice person, but you know it's not right. If you guys continue to hang out together, you don't feel good, and you're not allowing them back out into the world where they can meet up with somebody who they actually love, that actually loves them for exactly who they are, that it's going to work for them. So think about it. Sometimes the best thing you can do for yourself and for the thing is to get it out of your house and back out into the world, into circulation, where that thing, that item, can have the potential to match up with somebody who is looking for that exact item. Now, I say this from many, like, layers of my life, but even right now, see up here on this corner shelf right here, see all these? These are like vintage little train cases, and that's like a little, like a hold on. This is how my brain works sometimes, and sometimes it doesn't work. A little sewing kit. Each one of these things was owned by somebody else at some point. I did not buy them new because they're vintage. Somebody else decided they didn't want them, and then they gave it to the Goodwill, a yard sale, an antique store, eBay, whatever. I was like, oh my God, I love those and I want them. Now they bring me joy all the time. I store things in them. So you hanging on to something isn't making you feel good, and it's not good for the thing. That thing hanging around dusty in somebody's closet, it wasn't be showing off. Now look at how nice and cute they look. Yeah, but notice everybody. We have stories in our head that make ourselves feel a feeling. And it goes both sides. Stories, feelings. The crappy stories make you hang on to things. The fearful stories, the judgment, the shame, the guilt, makes you hang on to stuff you don't want. You can change that, though. You can rewrite that story into something different, something better, something more helpful, makes you feel better. Then when you feel better, you're like, yeah, you know what? I don't need that. I can let go. And it feels good. It doesn't feel bad. It's not like I'm losing something. What I'm gaining is freedom. Oh my gosh, I have, even myself, I have put a couple of books in some little free libraries recently. I practically skip away from them because it was books that I didn't want to finish. It feels good to release what you don't want. Your body does it all the time, unless you're constipated, and then you know what it's like. Think about your house being constipated. Your house is filled with stuff that if you could just get rid of it, you'd poop it on out. And then you'd feel nice and fresh and clean and light. Okay? That's kind of how it works. It really is. All right? All right, now I'm going to back up. I'm just saying, because sometimes what happens is these comments go too fast, and I just want to make sure. Okay? All right, there we go. Abbott Elementary says, oh, I just bought myself a bathrobe, and my daughter said she was going to get one, so I gave it to her. That was very nice of you. Yeah, if I save it to use it, then can't find it, what good is it? Yeah, if you save it to use it, decluttering helps you find those things. I know exactly right now where like 99.9% of the stuff in this house is, because I was intentional about putting it in a place that made sense to me. Putting things that I use frequently very close at hand. Things that I use less frequently are, in closets or in the basement. All right, there we go. Awesome Sauce is saying, 6 months from today is my birthday. I am setting a goal to have my whole home decluttered by then. Awesome Sauce, I want to help you with that. Sometimes when we make these very big declarative statements, we have set the bar wicked high. How about this? Awesome Sauce, lowering the bar. You can still get there, but lowering the bar to say, I want to have my whole home looking better by then. Not necessarily done, because it may be a daunting task and you may not be working at a pace that's sustainable if you're trying to get there. It's like a road trip. I want you to be driving at a pace that feels good for you. Know that if you show up starting today, it's going to look better. But if you don't make it to looking all done, you're going to feel bad, and you're not going to acknowledge the good feeling you have of getting stuff done. So how about you say you want to decrease the clutter in your home by 25% by your birthday? You can still work towards more than that, but notice how your destinations can make you feel. If it makes you feel fearful that you're not going to get there, cut it in half. Cut it in half again. But if it makes you feel excited and doable, then you're going to be more likely to show up. Because if you're saying, oh, I'll never get there, it's August, and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm never going to get to done, you may give up altogether. Notice how the way that we talk to ourselves and the way that we chunk things down. Remember earlier, calming down, quieting down, writing down, chunking down, all the downs. Okay? Yeah, Carrie is saying, I hope someone else is getting joy from the things I gave away. I hope so too. And here's a phrase that I use all the time. Use this. Write it down. This is a good one. Besides, what do I want to happen here? What do I want to happen here? What do I want? ... This house to look like? ... What do I want to do on vacation? ... What I want to have for lunch? How about this? I choose to believe that ... It's It's my Boston accent. ... Dorchester, Dorchester, Dorchester. I choose to believe that someone else is getting joy from the things I gave away. I choose to believe. I will never know. I hope that somebody is. I choose to believe they are because that makes me feel better. And when I choose to believe that and I believe it, that encourages me to donate more things away that I don't need anymore. Okay? I love it. Carrie says those sewing kits remind me of my grandma. Awesome. Okay. Kathy has 2 storage units. Kathy, think of how much your clutter is costing you monetarily. Now, I do one-on-one coaching, and people pay me for coaching, so coaching is an investment in your clutter, but I teach you a sustainable way to go through those things. But that's just another example of the areas of your life where you may not even realize how much clutter is affecting it. How much money you spend on replacing items, how much money you spend on a monthly basis on storage items. Storage items are filled with things that you just haven't made a decision on and acted upon. You have 2 storage units filled with decisions that you haven't made yet. All right, Marie B. All right, you got me? You got me in the total dot thing? Isn't it funny? There we go. I'm from Mass as well. I live in PA now, so now I've got the water ice people. I live here with, getting a hoagie at the Wawa. Go get some water ice at the Hoga. Yeah, Aunt Mary Pat. My goodness, it's already 7:51, you guys. At least East Coast, that's where I am. My name is Beth. I'm a decluttering life coach if we haven't met before. I do these TikTok lives quite often, and I will be doing them for the next couple weeks. But I'm letting you know that I'm also going on what I call off the digital grid for 2 weeks because I'm going on vacation and doing some traveling. I'll actually be going back up to Mass in a bit for a high school graduation. But I want to give you some resources just real quick, just so you have some things to think about and do. So I have my TikTok page here. If you've never followed my page and you want to be notified when I do my TikTok lives, if you follow me, I believe that happens. There's also a bunch of videos I did. I just did one that I think is pretty wicked funny yesterday about helping my mother with her junk mail. So follow my page here on TikTok if you like. These TikTok lives are also recorded, and I post them on Destination Decluttered on YouTube. People have told me, this was never my idea. It was sometime last year when I started doing TikTok lives that somebody asked if I could do that so they could listen to it like a podcast or in their earbuds when they're walking around their house. So over 200 of them are now available for free. I sound like I'm on Channel 56 in a commercial, but it's just a fact. There are over 200 of them available for you to watch or listen to on Destination Decluttered on YouTube. However, this is where being on the Destination Decluttered free mailing list, it's free. Just sign up for the mailing list on DestinationDecluttered.com. Then you have first access, first dibs, as I like to say, to the TikTok live recordings for this month. You also get invited to a free monthly Zoom. It's this week for May, the 16th at 8 p.m. There's a couple of other free things, good stuff. Just, I don't bombard you with emails. You get first dibs on things. Oh, you get to know when I'm doing my TikTok lives well in advance of everybody, so you can kind of put them into your schedule. So just some good stuff, because I want you to participate in your decluttering and get it done. So I show up with these resources, and then, of course, the last but best is one-on-one coaching with me. That's paid coaching. I do a 10-week program or a 10-session program. It starts with a consultation. You and I work together after the consultation. If we work together coaching, it's you and me. You're in the driver's side. I'm in the co-pilot seat. I show you how to quiet down your backseat drivers. We make a roadmap to say, okay, you want to get to there? This is what are some things we can do to get there? And then every week, you do the things. It's like learning how to drive a different way. You practice, and you show up behind the wheel even when you're not in class. So the next time you say, this worked. I want to do more of this, but this didn't work. Help me get better at this. Lather, rinse, repeat. I love it. That you can also sign up for on my mailing list, DestinationDecluttered.com. So there's me, Beth, DestinationDecluttered.com. That's like the commercial break. And I'm here for the next 6 minutes. I love this. So Jen is saying the idea that I'm preventing somebody else from having something I don't need is going to help a lot. Yeah, it really does. It's doing you no good, and it's doing the thing no good. Like I was thinking about that with the not the crock pot, because we kept the crock pot, Johnny. God, we kept the crock pot, but we the Instapot. As soon as my husband, because he's the one who does most of the cooking, was like, yeah, you know what, we can let it go. Boy, did I put that in a box and bring it over to a local thrift stop, And I know that there's going to be somebody who's shopping at that thrift store who can make delicious meals for their family in that thing, and they will be able to get it at a fraction of the price as if they had, if they couldn't afford it at Target. I'm helping somebody get something that's going to improve their life. And it also improves my life because now I have that space, and also just not something that I'm not using in my house. Okay? I love it. Cat Mama even just says, yes, got rid of an old washer to Habitat for Humanity. It had been in the cellar for 5 years and it feels good. Notice it feels good. I wouldn't be doing this if it was torturous, if I had to be like, drop and give me 20, no. I do this because decluttering, when you are decluttered and when you are decluttering, it feels good. It feels good because you're getting closer to what you want. What do I want? I want a basement that doesn't have a washer in it. I want a house that less stuff that I need to clean, less stuff that I need to move when I'm cleaning. I want just the right amount of stuff in my house for me. I don't want too much. I don't want too little. I want just right. I'm like Goldilocks there. But I know this feeling of decluttering is when I have too much. So all we do is we don't get rid of the good stuff. What we do is we find better homes for the stuff that we just don't want, knowing that its absence will make me feel better. And it being closer to somebody else will light up their lives, because I know that for a fact. All right. Mignone says, you have helped me so much and I just want to say thank you. Well, you're welcome. This is why I do it. This is why I do it, because you're not alone. So many of us do this. I mean, I grew up in a cluttered home. I was cluttered for the first many decades, and I still collect stuff. And I still have stuff down my basement I'm working on. You've seen me do videos. But I just want to let you know you're not alone with this. And there's help out there. And to me, when the help is fun and casual and fun and just fun and goofy like me, that makes it feel easy. And it is easy. And when it feels easy, you're more likely to do it than when it feels like, oh, this is going to be a task, I'm overwhelmed, so much, yada, yada. Shh, quiet down. This can also be really fun. Think of it as opening up a mystery box and not knowing what you're going to find. Opening up a treasure chest. What treasures could you find? You know? Great way to train your mind to let go of things. Exactly. Yeah, training your brain. When you think better, you feel better, and when you feel better, you do better. When you're not feeling so good, you're hanging on to stuff. When you're feeling better and thinking better, you're more easily to let go of it. Picky says, my daughter says if I haven't used it in a year and don't see myself using it next year, yeah, I didn't use it last year, here I am. I look ahead through the windshield, down the road, I don't see myself down the road using it. I'm going to feel okay about letting it go. Helped a lot. I need to get rid of stuff. Yeah. Oh, hey, Kara, daughter graduated from college. My God, time flies. Home for 3 weeks with her stuff. We have a plan. I love the we have a plan thing. Can't wait to hear all about it. All right, you guys, 7:58. I got like 2 minutes here. How could I help you the most? Let me just review. It's a nice little review, especially for those of you who haven't been on the call since the beginning. Here's how, if you're ever feeling like I don't know where to start, or you're even afraid to start, or so much in overwhelm, I want you to focus on your body, your nervous system first, okay? Your nervous system. Bluefin Kim, I get on the AM in different times because I coach people all over the country, but there is a schedule pinned to the top of my TikTok page. You'll see the dates and times there. Okay, you can check it as soon as I'm signing off. Okay, great, start my day. Thanks so much. You're welcome. What I want to let you know is when you feel better, you're going to do better. So if you're not feeling good, seriously, take some deep breaths. Quiet down, calm down. Go to a place where there's quiet, where you can, as my mother would say, hear yourself think. And then ask yourself, what's my destination? And dare to dream it. It doesn't have to be a grand dream of bling and, mansions and yachts and all that. I dream of being able to easily find the scissors in my kitchen. My destination is I want to easily be able to do stuff. And whatever comes up, you write it down. You have then got something to aim for. You've got your destination decluttered, this little heart that I'm pointing to. Then you're here today. You're here every day. You're in your car and you say, okay, if that's where I'm headed, how can I get there today? All right? And then you lather, rinse, repeat. Calm down your nervous system, lather, rinse, repeat. When you get tired, you take a break, you fill up your tank, you wait for the next day. This one will be on YouTube. All of these are on YouTube, but I will say, if you're not on the mailing list, you can't access this one. You won't be able to see this one until June. So get on the mailing list if you're not on it. DestinationDecluttered.com/join. And then you get the access code to watch all of the TikTok lives from May and also all the other ones. Okay? And yes, writing it down. Down is another, writing it down. Don't keep it all up here. Up here is spaghetti in a pot. Take the spaghetti, dump it out into the colander. Write that stuff down, and then you can know what to do to get going. Okay? All right, it's 8 p.m. I got to hop on to coaching and consultations, and I will just share with you, I'm doing something wicked fun today, decluttering my house, taking care of my stuff. I'm taking one of our vintage desk out to a vintage place in Lancaster. They're going to refinish the top of it, and they do really good work, and it's something I've wanted to get done literally for 20 years. Finally getting it done. So I am also continuing to make my home the best it can be. It lights me up to do that, and I want you to feel good about you taking care of yourself and your home too. All right? What do you want? Ask yourself that. Whatever comes up, write it down, and let's make it happen. Okay? Have a good one. Bye.